What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Folks, back on the Bossman Show. We're going to Western Carolina to the Catamounts, talk to Coach Kerwin Bell on the Bossman Show. Coach Bill, how you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing good.
Yes, sir. Coach, let me ask you, man, has it like you've been there going on your third year already? Western Carolina, has it flown by for you, Coach?
Yeah, it's a lot of things we've been working extremely hard trying to put this thing together. We've, I think, added 100 out of the 120 players are new in our roster here in the last two and a half years. So we've got the talent, that we feel like we want, and the kind of players that we want to sort of build that culture into a winning program.
And Coach, talk about you building the culture. I know you want guys who are talented on the field, but we're looking for in a young man for his characteristics off the field, for his characters and talents off the field.
Well, what we do is I tell our coaches, listen, first phase is they got to be good enough, right, physically to win us a championship. Go find me those guys. But then that's just a start for us. I believe talented football teams, and I've been on a bunch of teams, and they were talented, but they never could win the championship, because to win a championship, you got to have character, you have to have leadership, you have to have a lot of other characteristics besides just talent alone. Talent can win you some games now. You can upset a few games here or there, but to do it over a long season and win a championship, you have to have those other characteristics. So we go in, once we identify a kid, that's just a start for us. We're going to make sure he's a self-starter. That's my number one thing. I think too many guys at times we don't miss on talent. We miss on a kid that is in high school, his mom and them's got him up and made him go to school, and everybody's babying him, and all of a sudden he gets here and he's on his own and he's not a self-starter. If you're a self-starter, you can go anywhere and be successful. And so we try to get number one characteristics, be a self-starter, be a guy who wants to be a dominant football player, who wants to do great things, who wants to work maybe on Saturday and Sunday. He's out there. I love getting like videos and Twitter, and I'll get on social media and see guys who are working out. I see guys working out on Christmas Day, man. Them are guys, I love them guys, right? They love the game. They want to be the best. So we try to, I believe I hear people talk about all the time, man, that coach can build culture. No, you build culture by the kind of athletes you recruit. Because I can get 120 guys, like right now, 100 new guys plus the 20 we got that we think are good players when we got here. Now we've got 120 guys in that locker room who's creating that culture of greatness, that creating that culture of self-starters. That's what we want. And if you have that kind of locker room, you're going to win championships.
And Coach Bell, it's funny you said that because my father after school would have me out there catching passes and running routes after school every day. My father taught me from a 5-year-old on about work ethic and being great and putting them to work in the process. And I feel like too many times young men today don't respect the process of becoming great or enjoying the hearts, like the weight room, the gun, the gassers. You got to enjoy all the process of becoming a great football player.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys want to go out to the clubs at night and hang out, and football, they love it, but it's not a passion, right?
Yes, sir.
They love the game day, and it's great to love the game day. Football's a great sport, and it's great on game day. But the true great players and guys who win championships with are guys who, like you say, love the process. They love being with their teammates and seeing how good they can possibly be as individuals and as a group. And that's the kind of guys we want to create. And when you have that in your locker room, you're going to have a great culture.
And Coach Bell, talk about how the SoCon is even getting better, man. It's growing, it's getting better week by week, year by year. And the talent is in that conference, top to bottom, is amazing. Talk about that, Coach.
Well, I've only been this is my 3rd year, but I tell you what, every year there's going to be, there's going to be a 9-team conference that they all can play. You got to show up every Saturday. But there's also there's a top 4 or 5 that it's not like it's just heavily 1 or 2 teams. It's 4 to 5 teams. The last 3 years I've been here that can all win at the highest level, and they've got a chance to win it, and they're good enough to do it. And no difference this year. I mean, we've got, I think, us and 4 or 5 teams that can all go compete at the highest level and be in the playoffs and make a good run. And so it's going to be a big challenge for our young football team to see if we can get it done.
Yes, sir. Coach, about this, man, recruiting the Carolinas, man, so much talent there to get, how you can draw a circle around Western Carolina and get down to Georgia, Tennessee, up to Virginia and find talent. Talk about just being in your location and how you can find talented young men who fit what you're trying to build there and those self-starters that you want to have in Western Carolina.
Well, we sort of go a little south. We go we had 3 Florida players when we got here. We got 50 now on our rosters. I grew up in Florida. I played at the University of Florida. And then I coached ball at JU and high school ball in Florida. So I'm well connected, especially South Florida with the coaches. They trust what we do, the kind of program we're going to have. We won at JU, then we go to Valdosta State, and in 3 years we won a national championship. A lot of that was with Florida guys and South Georgia guys. So, yeah, we go Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And I tell people all the time, if we can't build a championship team in those states, then we're not doing a good job. But, one thing I love about South Florida guys, I love them because, man, them jokers do not flinch when they come to college. I think another place you miss sometimes is you get a kid that's in high school and he's always been a dominant player his whole career growing up. He's always been bigger, faster than everybody else. And all of a sudden he gets to the college level and people are hitting him in the mouth and he don't know how to elevate his game. South Florida kids, I've recruited a bunch of them, and never have I had one be intimidated when they get to the college level, because their whole life they grew up around talent. They've had to bust their butt just to get on the field from age 5 and up, because there's so much talent down there. And so that's that we have, and I think reason why we, like I said, because I'd had so much success down there. You take over a 1-10 program, North Carolina kids would look at us and say, well, I appreciate the offer. Let me see if I can get something better, right? You're 1-10. They've been in this state. They've seen us the last few years. And so when we first got here, I'd had so much success with Florida guys, them coaches down there say, hey, if Coach Bell wants you, I don't care if it's at Western Carolina in the mountains, go, because you're going to win and he's going to make sure he takes care of you. And so we had so much success down there getting those kids. And now, because we're starting to win, now we're starting to get these North Carolina kids that are interested. So I think we've got the best of both worlds. Is that area, like I talked about, is really good football, and I think we got a chance to be successful with that kind of recruitment.
Yes, sir, Coach. But I agree with you, Coach. And I saw you, like I said, Kentucky this past week. Big win over those guys and out of UAC. Talk about that win, Coach, and the senior guys performed very well on both sides of the ball this past weekend.
Well, it's big for us, our program in year 3. I've been able to, everywhere I've been, to win a championship by year 3. So I've told my players they're on the hook to get it done this year. But I know we've passed 2. I built a lot of programs, and there's 2 things you've got to do before you can think about championships. You got to create a roster that can be competitive, right? And that can be not only competitive against other people, but also can create competition within your roster. So that number 1 guy needs to be good enough to win a championship. Number 2 can push him. And number 3 is a freshman who's going to maybe take all their spots when he gets the experience. So we've done that. I think 100 out of 120 players are new here the last 2.5 years. And what that does, and everywhere I've been, it creates sort of an individual team, a bunch of individuals, because they don't know each other. They all brand new. So with that team, now you've got it, and you're hoping in year 2, year 3 it happens. Hoping you happen before you get fired,
Yes.
And that is that they come together as a football team. They get that linkage together where they trust each other, where they want to play for each other, where they know each other like best friends, right? Because now I think you got to lose some tough games, but we lost some tough ones last year. Mercer kicked our butt, South Furman whooped our butt. And come back and almost won that game, but we were down pretty good. Sanford beat us. So I think we've gone through some tough times. I think you got to go through. Now I think we've grown as a football team. But what I've seen the last 3 games is now carried over this year. We won 3 games down to the wire and beat Chattanooga, who was the 15th ranked team in the country the last game of the season. And we were down that whole game, but we didn't flinch. And so we're starting to develop, I think, that DNA, that championship DNA you got to have to win a championship. And then it's carried, this year, now year 3, you've got those 2 things passed, right? You got a talented roster. Your team's starting to play as a football team. Now you got to gain confidence by winning. And I think the Sanford game, winning it the way we did, because they won the conference last year, and then to go beat Eastern Kentucky on the road, I think it's been great for us to start the season, to get us going.
And Sanford has 50 grad transfer seniors.
Yeah.
They're going to have a long senior day, I think.
I tell people, the portals help people in different ways, right? Sanford has helped them tremendously with grad students. They've done a great job being able to go get grad students. They got a great grad school. We've been able to get a few, and we really hadn't focused on grad students. Our transfers, we want to plug in where we need maybe some veteran leadership, certain areas on our roster. But I had a 5-year contract. I'm like, hopefully I don't get fired. But I went with young kids because we had so many connections down in Florida and Georgia and South Carolina. Let's go get those kids that are left over, because think about it. A lot of schools, instead of getting 20 high school kids, let's say, every year, they're only getting 10. And the other 10, they're going to get transfer guys. So there's a lot of kids out there that had FBS offers that are dropped. And I think we've been able to go in and get some guys who are really FBS type players on this roster, because there's so many guys out there that don't have scholarships. So that's helped us. We're young, with a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this team, but I think we're going to keep growing and turn into a really good football team.
And Coach Bell, I think this is probably last year, those COVID guys too, because they're so much older. These COVID guys in the system still. So I feel like this is my last year before normal's out again. So hey, get it while you can. That's my philosophy. While they overlook these great players, get them while you can. Get them going. That's how I see it. Let them look at them older guys. You get them good young guys. Oh, Mr. Carolina. Oh, we in trouble today.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's helped us tremendously, I've been making this statement. I think we've got a top 15, top 10 offensive line in FCS football. And the reason is 2 guys who I thought were sure they're going to get NFL looks. NFL's in here all the time looking at them. But they both came back for their 5th year. Maybe one of them was a COVID year. So we've got a really dominant offensive line. I think that's where so these young athletes that are around them, our quarterback's a sophomore. All our receivers are freshmen and sophomores, running backs, freshmen. So, but they are sophomores. So that big offensive line that's really good, I think helps young kids play better, right? Because you're surrounded by that offensive line. So I think that's what's made us, pretty good so far.
And Desmond's really enjoying that big offensive line. He's getting to them holes, Coach. I see he's doing his thing out there, Coach. That line you got, man.
Let me tell you, Desmond in our second year here, we went 4-6 my first year. The next year, the first game of that following year, he committed to us that early. And for FCS, that's pretty early, right? Fall of his senior year. And Desmond Reed, if you go talk to any high school coach in Florida, especially South Florida, they'll tell you he's the best back or one of the top 2 or 3 that's come through there in the last 10 years. And they're talking FBS backs. They talking about every back that's come out of South Florida. He's that talented. He had FBS offers, but they go in and, see him, and he's 5'8", 175 pounds. And so they drop him. But he's 4'3". He's a ball of muscle. He is one of the most physical backs I've ever seen. At his size. And so he's he gives us, he's a superstar, man. We're going to have to hold on to him. He's a tough character. I tell you, he's really good. And he's a guy that you can really, you can hand him the ball, and most backs will get 3 yards out of the situation. He'll get 6. I mean, he's just that good.
No doubt, he's really good with reading those gaps and having that integrity to see, okay, one cut here. So I'm watching him. He pops it on film, Coach. He does pop on film.
And you'll see 220 line. Watch the film. You'll watch 220-pound, 230-pound linebackers hit him square, and they'll go to their knees. I mean, he's that bit. He's like a ball of muscle is what he is. And he'll bounce off of them guys, and they'll just fall to their knees. I mean, he's pretty special.
And he helps out cold, too. He gets cold at that security blanket, helps him out as well, and gets cold, feeling comfortable. And I'm seeing Cole getting better, going through his reads, seeing his progression, seeing what he's seeing, because, Coach, and I both know this. Sometimes some quarterbacks lock in on read number 1. He's going through a progression. So you got to do something right there, Coach.
Well, we're proud of him, too. He came here on a half a scholarship, Cole did. And we brought in a couple other kids, and man, we had to give him a full one after his first year. He played, 4 games, went 3-1 as a true freshman because we had a guy get hurt. But we thought we had something. One thing, you can't really tell. I knew he could throw the football, but I liked him because of his toughness. And I think if you're going to win any championship, that quarterback needs to be a kind of guy where guys love him. Right? They want to play for him, you know what I'm saying? And they think he's tough. They know he's tough. The way he plays, they respect how tough he is, and he gets them to play at a high level. And you don't see that as a quarterback, until you get them on campus. But I think he has those characteristics that you got to have as a quarterback to be successful. And so I'm proud of him.
Yes, sir, Coach. I love what I'm seeing from him. And Coach, what are you seeing from Charles Southern on film as you prepare this week? And what are you going to have to really make sure you hone in on this week as you get ready to play those guys this area?
Well, listen, I first of all, the coach, I coached against him. He was at Albany State when I was at Valdosta. His teams are well coached. They play hard, and you see that on film. Their defense gets after you. And what we've got to do is make sure that we handling all their pressure packages off the edge. They do it on rundowns. Like, they want to get you behind the sticks. Really good coaching. I mean, they don't try to create negative plays. So I think in this game, if you see us getting a hat on a hat, we'll be successful. But we got to make sure we get a hat on a hat and don't let guys run free and get negative yards against us, negative plays. So that, and then offensively, they don't run the triple. So we just got to make sure we're really. I told my coaches, defense coaches, I don't care what you work on, but make sure we're lined up. If they run a triple, some kind of option at us, that we got our assignments down like the back of our hand. So. But it's going to be, it's a challenge. They're going to come in here. They don't play hard, and we get them at home. We got to make sure there's no leftover from the last 2 weeks. And I don't think that, man. I love this team. They love to play on Saturday, but I think they're that team. And I think it's, again, who we recruited, but they love the process. Like, they love to see how much better they can get this week than they got last week. That's what we talk about. Let's just be 1-0 this week. Let's see how much better we can get this week than we were last week. And they love that process. So I think we're going to be ready to go play a good game.
And Coach Bell against Coach Bell, like, for you, at what point in your career you decided you want to get into coaching? Because I still told my father is a coach, and I see what he did his career. So for you, like, when did you decide you wanted to help young men and become a coach?
Well, first of all, I grew up on a farm, and tobacco farm. And that's some hard work.
Yes, sir.
And my dad, when I left school, I remember, or left for school, he goes, "Now, son, this farms don't be here for you if you want to come back." I was like, "Dad, I'm going to figure something else out than coming back to this farm. It's too hard at work." But, I went through college. I walked on the University of Florida. I just wanted to play ball, right? And I didn't know what I wanted to do academically or other than playing football. So I actually got my degree in psychology because it was a broad degree. Had no idea, and never thought about coaching. For some reason, I love ball. I love, all the different sports, but never thought about coaching. Got drafted by the Miami Dolphins and was with the Atlanta Falcons my first year. Then Buccaneers. That offseason with the Buccaneers, my second year, I tore my ACL playing pickup basketball.
Wow.
On the offseason. So I tried to rehab. They let me try to rehab, but without the ACL, they failed me on my physical like in June. So I called Steve Spurrier at the University of Florida. He just got the job there in 1990. And I said, "Coach, I need a job. I'm going to miss a whole year of football." They cut me. Tampa Bay cut me. So I had reconstruction knee surgery, and I went there and coached as a GA. And that's when I fell in love. Said, "Man, this is what I want to do." I seen almost, to me, coaching wasn't nothing great when I first, when I was thinking about it in college and stuff. But 2 years after college, I go to Coach Spurrier, and I seen almost perfection on the field. Like his passing attack was like just the precision and the timing and the routes and the spacing. Man, that interests me so much. It got me to say, this is what I want to do. Well, dumb me, I should have stayed in coaching then, but I went back and played another 10 years after I got healthy, and then wound up didn't get into coaching until 2004, somewhere, or 2001. I retired from up in Canada playing and got into coaching. So
now, Coach Bell, let me ask you this. How was it playing at old Fulton County Stadium here in Atlanta with the Falcons? How was that?
Well, let me tell you one story. Chris Miller was our starting quarterback. You remember Chris Miller? He was from Oregon State, I think.
I was 4 years old in 88.
80. Well, this is 88. Okay.
Yeah.
But we played, I remember being at Fulton County Stadium, and I was on the sideline. I played, I started 4 years in SEC. I mean, that's good football, right?
Yes, sir.
All of a sudden, Chris Miller was an athlete, too. He could run. He wasn't a real big quarterback. I was like second or third string during my rookie year. But I was on the sideline, and all of a sudden he starts scrambling to our sideline. And I'm like, and this guy looked like he was 6'8", running after him. I'm like, oh my God. And I've seen some good players in the SEC. And he chased him down on our sideline. I mean, just caught him like it wasn't nothing. And this guy looked like a monster. And he got up. It was number 56 for the New York Giants.
LT.
Lawrence Taylor. Oh my God. I'm like, goodness gracious. I don't know if I want to play in this league or not. This is tough.
Yes,
it's
sir.
bad when they can outrun you and they're twice your size,
Yes, sir. Coach, I just missed you because I became a ball boy in 1990.
Okay.
But for the Falcons. So
yeah.
I missed you by a couple of years. I'll be 40 years old in March. So I missed you by a couple of years, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always fun to hear about the old Falcon.
Was you out at the Swanee?
Yes, sir. I was.
The Falcon Inn?
Yes, sir. I was out there, man.
I went by there about 8 years ago with my kids. I said, I'm going to show y'all where my facility was at when I was with the Falcons. We was going down I-85. I get off on that Swanee exit, and I could not recognize anything there. I'm like, it was just one little gas station and a little Falcon Inn was there.
It's
and then
built up now, man.
And now it's like 4-story buildings and stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because now I grew up on the west side of Atlanta, but my dad took me up there because my dad wanted me to be involved in football, and my dad had a mission. Now I didn't get to play in the NFL, but I'm still doing radio the last 15 years. I'm still around it. So, Coach, I'm living the dream. My dad's dream anyway. I'm still living the dream.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, good.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, it's fun to talk to you today. I've been a fan for years, man. I'm glad he get this done, and I'll be cheering for you. Then you all play at Mercer this year, Coach, or you don't play at Mercer? Yeah,
we got 2 games this game, and then Citadel, and then we got 3. We got Chat, Mercer, and Furman. So that's
hopefully I'll catch you in one of those chat of Mercer. Hopefully, man. I can get with Daniel. We can get some set up, Coach.
Okay, sounds good, man.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you. Have a great day, Coach. It was fun, man.
Right. You too. All right, buddy.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews. You name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. What's up, family? Gerald the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.